Okay, so I'm going to introduce our speaker. Her name is Adrienne Chadwick. She's a lifelong Alaskan, 20-year flight attendant, holistic mentor, and beyond quantum healing practitioner. For years, she has shared space with thousands of people as they journeyed to faraway places, and now she holds space for those who are ready to return home to themselves. As a certified Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner and a graduate of the Institute of Coaching Mastery, she provides support to individuals who feel the pull toward a life that's been quietly waiting for them, one rooted in truth, clarity, and inner authority. Through expanded states of awareness and integrative mentoring, she guides people to access their deeper intelligence, release old patterns, understand the stories that have shaped them, and step forward with greater purpose. I'm very excited to tell you that Adrienne is on the IM University leadership team. She was one of the founding members of the university, and she's one of our coaches. And since the first day I met Adrienne, her presence has exuded nothing but support and enthusiasm and curiosity. And these are some of the main characteristics that we're looking for coaches and facilitators and members in the university space. I'm really happy that you are part of our team.
Woo-hoo.
In this talk, Adrienne invites us to an intimate exploration of how our beliefs keep us stuck and how to release the energy of emotions so we can return home to ourselves. Through her own story, she will share how the surrender process taught by David R. Hawkins, Alyssa Nobriga, and others became the missing piece that wove together years of seeking and personal evolution. This experience blends teaching with embodied practice, moving beyond intellectual understanding into lived, felt transformation. Please welcome Adrienne Chadwick.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking time to come to the Adams Center today and listen to me speak and just, be in community. I love this community, so it's so good to see all of you here. As Lance said, I'm Adrienne Chadwick. I consider myself a student of life. I've spent years on deep transformation work, studying, practicing, and learning. Today, I want to share with you a practice that has supported me and helped me progress exponentially. But before I get into that, I want to give you a little background. I start this story at a point in my life where I had finally sought help after years of existing in survival mode. Prior to this point, I thought I was functioning just fine. I was not. I had been slowly dying in a dysfunctional marriage. To take my power back, I had separated from him. And I began doing what I wanted to do for a change, which was, in truth, risky behavior. A friend suggested I go to the White Raven Center here in Anchorage, Alaska, and thankfully I did. And since then, everything I explored comes back to one core question. How do I free myself from suffering? And how do I help others discover that same freedom for themselves? In 2019, I was in an RTT, Rapid Transformation Therapy session here in Anchorage. At the time, I was navigating a separation from a marriage that was deeply unhealthy. He was living in Colorado, and I hadn't seen him in months. And yet I was suffering intensely. I was convinced he was controlling my life. He was keeping me stuck and making me miserable. At one point during my rant, my facilitator gently interrupted me and asked, "You haven't actually been around him in months. Are you sure he's the one doing this to you?" In that moment, the truth landed in my body. All the wind went out of my blame-driven sails, and there was a brief flash of freedom, immediately followed by something heavier. The realization that I was my own oppressor. I was the one doing this to me. After a few minutes of processing, my facilitator, sensing the shift in my demeanor, said something that stayed with me for years. I'm sorry if nobody told you this, but this gets way harder before it gets easier. What I didn't understand then was this. Life brings us people and circumstances, not to punish us, but to reveal where we're still not free. My circumstances had changed. My beliefs had not. I was replaying old conversations, old stories, old beliefs, keeping myself imprisoned long after the doors were open. And here's the truth of it. There is no cage, except for the one that I created. That moment cracked me open, and what I learned in the years that followed is what I want to share with you today. Many of you are already familiar with David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness, so I'll keep this brief. The map shows that emotions exist on a spectrum. Lower emotions drain our energy, higher states generate it. The most important point on the map is courage. Below courage, life feels like something that's happening to us. Above courage, we begin taking responsibility, not through effort, but through awareness. Hawkins' central insight is simple. We rise on this scale, not by becoming better, but by letting go. When we stop resisting emotions and allow them to be fully felt, they release naturally. And what remains is clarity, presence, and peace. For years after that session, I worked hard on my beliefs. I questioned them, I challenged them, I made progress, but something was still missing. One day I was listening to Alyssa Nobriga on her podcast while she was guiding someone through a block. What struck me is what she didn't do. She didn't analyze the emotion. She didn't ask for the story. She simply invited the person to feel the emotion as pure sensation in the body, with curiosity and compassion. And the tension she was feeling released. That was the moment I realized something profound. The mind isn't the only way out. The body has wisdom too. Here's something important I learned. Our blocks are not mistakes. They exist for a reason. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Every behavior pattern and emotional block is trying to meet a need, usually safety. Take procrastination. On the surface, it looks like self-sabotage, but underneath, it often comes from perfectionism. And perfectionism is trying to protect us. Perfectionism says, if I do it right, I'll be accepted. If I'm accepted, I'll belong. And if I belong, I'm safe. When we see our blocks this way, we can stop fighting them. We can thank them, and we can let them go. Most of us were never taught how to actually handle our emotions. Instead, we learned 3 strategies: repression, suppression, one and the same, expression, and escape. Suppression is like a pressure cooker. The emotion builds until something explodes, often sideways, while we're driving, for example. Expression can feel relieving, but it only releases a little pressure. Escape through food, alcohol, scrolling, staying busy, just numb us temporarily. Dr. Hawkins uses the image of a beach ball held underwater. As long as you're using energy to keep it submerged, you can't swim freely. And the moment you get tired, it pops back up. What we were never taught is the 4th option: allowing, surrendering, letting go. Over-intellectualizing or spiritually bypassing our emotions only serve to build more complex coping strategies. This is because thoughts are the language of the mind. and emotions are the language of the body. Stand by. Okay. One emotion can trigger thousands of thoughts, just as thoughts can evoke emotions. Dr. Hawkins taught us that handling a crisis at the emotional level, rather than the intellectual one, shortens its duration dramatically. You don't think your way out of emotions. You feel your way through them. Here is a list of possible ways you might be bypassing. Whoa, as quoted from the introduction of Letting Go by Dr. Hawkins. In it, he lists several ways we tragic, comic, and noble humans courageously search for the solution to our suffering. I've highlighted just a few that I myself have tried. You might see some on here that you've tried. A few more.
You don't like cabbage?
That's the truth right there.
I'm just going to speak. I made the font smaller on this one. I made it small on this one today. So intuitively, we know that somewhere there's an answer. So where is our blind spot? Why can't we find the answer?
Somehow I didn't see the Atom Center in that list.
Oh, it was on there. It said join a consciousness of like raising group or something. It was highlighted. It was quoted, so I couldn't add Adam
We've got
Center.
some major hot springs people. I think that helps a lot.
So where is our blind spot? Why can't we find the answer? Well, it could be that we don't understand the problem. That's why we can't find it. Maybe it's ultra simple and that's why we can't see it. Maybe the solution is not out there and that's why we can't find it. Or maybe we have so many belief systems that we're blinded to the obvious. And here's where we get stuck. When you judge an emotion or identify with it, it becomes part of your identity. You are angry. You are lazy. You are a procrastinator. You're not experiencing anger, and you're not noticing procrastination. But emotions are not who you are. Alyssa says, and Lance said something like this last week too, is that feelings are like children. They just want our attention. And when we finally give it to them with compassion, they're satisfied. Mm-hmm. They don't need to stay, and they run off to play. And the best part of this process, you don't need to know where the emotion came from. You don't need the full story. You just need the willingness to feel what's here. Shortly after hearing Alyssa do this work on her podcast, I joined her year-long coaching program. Before it officially started, during a bonus workshop, she guided us through the letting go process live. I thought I'd work on some mild money insecurity to help me jumpstart my business. But when I dropped into my body, what I felt was terror. Full body, existential terror of being completely destitute. I didn't judge it. I didn't try to fix it. I didn't ask why. I stayed curious. I felt the tightness in my chest, the constriction in my throat. I let the tears and the sobs come. And eventually it moved through. I was still here. I was okay. And this is the paradox of transformation. When we finally fully feel the thing we've been avoiding, we become free of it. You discover it's not the feelings that hurt you, it's your resistance to them. Most of us seek freedom from discomfort, but that's just another form of control. True freedom is freedom to. The freedom to feel fear without being consumed by it, to feel anger without acting it out, to feel grief without collapsing into it. When you stop trying to escape what's here and instead allow it, something profound happens. You realize you are bigger than your emotions. And in that willingness, the emotion releases on its own. As I began building my business, belief after belief about money surfaced. I filled pages of my journal. Money corrupts. I don't need a lot of money to be happy. Money is the root of all evil, or more properly quoted, the love of money is the root of all evil. But it was in a coaching session where I discovered the root. Part of me still hated money. Not because of money itself, but because it was safer than feeling anger towards my parents and the stress associated with it. It took my dad away to the slope. It stressed my mom out all the time. I felt guilt for wanting things when money was tight. Once I allowed that anger to be felt without story, it shifted. And all the other beliefs were just branches of that root. Dr. Hawkins teaches that beneath desire is a kind of drivenness. The question isn't whether we want something, but whether we need it to be okay. We don't actually want the thing, we want the feeling the thing will give us. Attachment is the ego holding on to identity through unmet needs. In relationships, it can show up as clingy, jealousy, or control, and it almost always creates the disconnect one is afraid of. Freedom doesn't come from getting what you want, it comes from no longer needing it to feel okay. And when attachment falls away, what's revealed is that you were already whole. Letting go isn't just for big emotional releases, it's a daily practice, used in moments of conflict, anxiety, resentment, or the urge to control. The body holds wisdom the mind can't access. It releases emotions in layers at a pace the nervous system can tolerate. Coming back to the same feeling again and again isn't failure, it's intelligence. Each time you meet an emotion with presence and compassion, you're signaling safety to the nervous system and gently undoing decades of conditioning. This is how patterns dissolve without overwhelm. The process is simple. Notice the emotion. Locate it in the body. Drop the story. Stay with it with curiosity and compassion, and allow it to move through. Emotions themselves only take about 90 seconds to move through the body when they're fully felt. If something is lasting longer, it's usually because the mind has stepped back into story, back into meaning, resistance. So when you notice yourself getting caught in thought, replaying conversations, judging yourself, or trying to figure things out, let that be your cue to come back to the body. Thoughts will always try to explain or fix. The body simply asks to be felt. Each time you return to sensation, you interrupt the old pattern of resistance and reinforce a new one, presence. So offer your emotions the same compassion you would offer a child who needs comfort. Not to make them go away, but because they're here. Rest assured, life will continue to bring you opportunities to practice. Every trigger is an invitation. Every uncomfortable emotion is showing you where freedom is still unfolding. And the more you meet what arises in this way, the less effort it takes. Presence becomes familiar. Letting go becomes natural. Just remember, you are not broken, and you do not need fixing. Every emotion is just energy moving through you. And when resistance ends, it releases naturally. Dr. Hawkins showed us that peace is what remains when resistance ends. You don't need to let go to become free. You let go because freedom is what you are. Now, I'd like to take you through the letting go process if you're interested.
Yes, please.
You want to get comfortable. If you're comfortable, if you feel like either lowering your gaze or closing your eyes, I suggest choosing an emotion that's about a 6 or 7 charge on a scale of 10, but also just trust whatever comes up is what's ready to be released. So please make yourselves comfortable and we will begin. Take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Again, breathing in, letting the body settle as you breathe out. It's nothing to do, nowhere to be, and nothing to fix. Imagine above the crown of your head, a beautiful golden light. Let it be as big and as bright as you want it to be. And feel it as it begins to flow into the crown of your head, slowly like honey, pouring over your forehead and your eyes, over your jaw, your throat, and into your shoulders. Feel it as it moves into your chest, your upper back, your upper arms, into your diaphragm and your lower arms and into your belly. Remembering that any sensation that arises is welcome. And feel it as it begins to flow into your hips and your legs, over your knees, and into your calves. And finally, your ankles and your feet. Feel yourself fully enveloped in this beautiful golden light. Feel the support beneath you, the chair holding you, the ground receiving you. For just the next couple of breaths, imagine that it is your heart itself that is breathing the air in and releasing the air out. Imagine that it is your heart itself that is breathing and moving the air throughout your body. Now, gently bring to mind an emotion you don't want to feel or have been avoiding. There's no right or wrong emotion here. Whatever is present is welcome. Now, are you willing to drop the story about this feeling and bring curiosity into what the sensation is like in your body now? Bring awareness to the body and notice where you feel it. You can place a hand where you feel it arising if that helps you presence it. And now with curiosity, tune into the sensation, allowing, just feeling. Does this sensation have a color or a shape? What size is it? Is it the size of a golf ball or a volleyball? Is it dense or transparent? And is this energy new or familiar? When was the first time you remember experiencing this? Trust what images arise if they do. Take a moment to breathe into what's alive in your body now as pure energy. Imagine you're feeling it for the first time. All of it's welcome exactly as it is. Just allowing and breathing. Can you be with this just for right now? Is it okay that this sensation is here? Just keep breathing. Presence the safety of the golden light. And at the same time, allow the constriction to be here without judgment or agenda. Just follow what arises and let it unfold intuitively in the moment for as long as it needs. And if resistance comes up, allow that to always. When you feel the process has completed, sit with the expansion of your heart, the space that has grown by simply allowing. Thank that part of you that's been working so hard to make sure you're safe. And stay here as long as you like. Breathe, notice, and allow. And as you are ready, if you feel like it has completed, you can go ahead and open your eyes and return to this room. Also, just tune into your inner knowing and see if you can hear what you can do from this place of expansion to ground this energy in the next 24 hours. Maybe go for a walk, prepare and eat your favorite meal, connect with a friend, treat yourself to a coffee date and a good book. What does this part want to do? Just listen to what comes up. Take care of yourself, and thank you all for participating and hearing me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
I bet there's gonna be.
Once everybody comes back down.
Yeah. Wait for the trance door.
Yeah. Rusty.
You say drop the story, what do you mean?
So, like, where I was in that moment in time in the RTT session where it's just like, if the emotion is anger and I'm like, he's taking all my money and he doesn't let me do anything and he's controlling and he calls me all the time and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, what needs to be felt is the anger. So if you drop the story and you just feel it as sensation in the body, that's like the thought loop is what keeps you stuck in the emotion. So as long as you're looping, the emotion's going to last longer than 90 seconds. I don't know who did the study. Somebody did a study. Emotions take about 90 seconds to move through the body. Any longer, and it's because you're, well, I should be mad because he did this, or of course I'm mad, like this shouldn't be happening, or whatever it is. So, yeah, just letting go of story. Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you so much for doing this talk. It feels like you feel like me in the future, because I'm going through exactly probably similar to what you went through. My question is, like, I've done a lot of work. I started doing work before I was in a situation that was not healthy. Drop the story, right? So you drop the story, but sometimes there's a lot of baggage with it and it comes back, or do you feel like if it comes back you're not doing it right, or do you feel like sometimes it does come back and you have to drop the story again?
So it's many layered, and it's some of the story and some of the I call it like subconscious or unconscious programming. So we have these stories that are running kind of like in the background that are just always running, and they're stories that we've told ourselves about ourselves since we were little. It could be like I don't belong, or everything is up to me, or I'm not loved. So there's these core stories that are like how we see the world. We're living in a world where like I don't belong, or I need to, it's all up to me to like make other people happy, or whatever it is. So this is a piece of the work that I help people like understand about themselves. It's a really good tool, but then there is also just like recognizing and knowing what those underlying subconscious programs are. And then just like with this and with a lot of other things that I do with people, it's like rewriting the program, upgrading. So they keep coming up because that program is still running in the background.
Okay. All the programs that you use to build your most recent program, that your partner or ex-partner was super abusive and controlling and all that, is built up on a bunch of other programs that you need to like deactivate, like almost walking backwards in time to deactivate things.
Yeah, and it could be the story of like I'm unlovable, and so you keep choosing people who are unable to love you through no fault of your own, through no like you didn't choose it. It's not a choice that you make. It's just you're running the program that has been there the whole time. Thank you. You're welcome.
Can I just add one thing that's also can be a cause of that feeling? Sometimes when we get rid of our anger, for example, it's like cleaning out the garage. And the moment that the garage is clean, as soon as we go into the house, we're like, oh, the living room could use a little work. And once our unconscious mind understands, like you leading us through this process, and we get this big release, our subconscious very often will say, can you do the living room too? And the bedroom could use some tidying up. So sometimes, even though we're staying in that feeling, it can be a signal that the process is actually working really well. And we're just like unloading more and more. And you can use your technique that you just took us through to go back in and see, am I still working on the same thing? And you ask the question, is this a new feeling that you are experiencing for the first time? And if we get a yes back to that, that can tell us this is working really, really well.
And then it's also like creating that separation. I put it on the slides, but I didn't talk about it. Like stage 1 is what I was living in before I like woke up to the fact that like I'm a powerful creator being, so like I don't have any blocks. And then it was like, oh my gosh, all I have are blocks. My whole life is on blocks. This is great. Can I go back to ignorance, please? And then you get to the point where there's space between you and your blocks. So instead of like, oh my God, I'm so angry, or like this makes me so mad, it's like, ooh, anger is here. What does it need? Like anger says that my boundaries have been crossed. Where's my boundary been crossed? And then you can just be with it in that way instead of just reacting, and like it turns into a response. There's space between the trigger and the response.
I was looking or listening for surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And is that what you mean by surrender? Drop the story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just it's like let go of the beach ball. Stop trying to shove it down. So when your energy is focused on suppressing and repressing and shoving it down, you don't have the energy to do the things that you want to do. Like live in freedom and go for the things that you want. The freedom to instead of the freedom from. Instead of trying to like fight the beach ball down to get freedom from it because it shouldn't be there, you just let it go and now you're free to swim. So it's the surrender of letting go of story.
Can I ask one more
Yeah, of course.
question? So like abuse is like real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are abused. Can you speak to that? Like within this context or within this story or within this reality, how does abuse and like, I don't even know what question I'm asking except for like, I feel like I was abused. I feel like I need to fight for my safety because I'm still not safe because I have a child with this man.
Mm-hmm.
And can you bring that into the story, or is that just a different level?
I think physical safety is different than emotional safety. They're two very different things. So I think creating that space and distance to get that physical safety first, and to where your nervous system is in a place where you can start like down regulating and like finding that safety, because physical danger is so different from emotional. So getting out of that situation is first and foremost, and then this work can begin to start to deprogram or figure out what those programs are, and so that in the future it doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
And there's the uncomfortable realization that our body is just an emotion machine.
Mm-hmm.
So are we constantly doing this all day long?
And that's what, I did say, like, it feels like a lot at first, and it can look more like this at first, of like, you can be having a conversation that starts to get heated, and you're like, and excuse yourself and go to the bathroom, like, okay, what am I feeling? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling, like, what is it? Okay, I'm feeling like I'm not heard, and when I'm not heard, I feel, so you can kind of take yourself through the process, drop the story, go through it, regulate yourself, and then just like come back later and say like, what was happening there is that I felt this way or whatever. But now for me it just happens in like seconds. It turns into a daily practice, and then it turns into something that just is like, then you just don't have triggers anymore because you've done so much. You've peeled back the layers over and over again. It just turns into your normal state of being. And I think that's what's, like, it kept saying like presence becomes the new normal. At first presence is like Like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like, this doesn't feel safe. Like, presence at first doesn't feel safe. So it'll, and again, undoing decades of conditioning, so it will eventually become not a practice, but a way of being. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Adrienne.